Hello, everyone. Welcome to this webinar. And we're going to talk about announcing NSX Advanced Load Balancer, also known as Avi with cloud services. So today I'm joined by two of my coworkers, Palak and Rahul. So I'm going to have them introduce themselves real quickly, but then we can jump into the agenda for today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Palak Desai. I'm the Director of Product at Avi, now VMware. Today we are going to talk about our new exciting offer that we're bringing to the market, which is NSX Advanced Load Balancer. Will be commonly referred to as Avi with cloud services. They're the same thing during the presentation. I'm also joined by Rahul. Rahul, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thanks, Palak. Hey, folks. This is Rahul. I work for Avi product management team as well.
And he's the demo guy. So before we started, I just want to say this webinar is being recorded. You will get an email with the recording and slides, and you can forward it to your coworkers who can't make it to this time slot, and it will be available on demand. You can also use the Q&A panel to key in your questions, and we will answer it live at the end of the presentation and demo. All right. So without further ado, a quick thing. We're going to talk about what this Avi with cloud service is all about, and Rahul will give you a quick demo of the product as well, and we'll follow up by Q&A. All right, Palak, without further ado, that's all yours.
Thank you. Can we move to the next slide? Yes, perfect. So Avi, as you know, provides you with flexible deployments. And what I mean by flexible deployments is that you can deploy the solution anywhere, on premises, in the cloud, or have a hybrid cloud solution. And to make the solution more simple, we have provided automated provisioning through our control plane. It's a full-featured services platform. What I mean by that is independent of where you are deploying, you'll get the same consistency in features and functions that you enjoy on premises. You get the same thing on the cloud. So you do not have to keep on retooling your environment based on the infrastructure that you're running the product on. And on top of that, we provide you with a rich set of visibility and analytics and resiliency already built into the product. Going on to the next slide, Rahul. Okay. So before I delve into what this new offer is, let's take a quick look into the Avi's architecture. It's almost like a recap of the architecture. Many of you guys are already familiar with it, but Avi's architecture is based on the software-defined concepts. What I mean by that is there is this concept of a control plane and a data plane. And the role of the control plane is to tell the data plane to do load balancing and provide it with attributes that the data plane requires to perform load balancing. So at a high level, think of your controller as the brain of the system. It decides where to spin up a load balancer, what are the attributes required by the load balancer based on the attributes configured by the LB admin on the controller. It figures out where the placement of the load balancer should be, for the best optimal application response and experience. It will figure out the HA requirements, whether it's active, active, standby. Not only that, it is responsible for publishing your FQDN into your DNS, procuring the IP address from your IPAM systems, and also configuring the network. Without Avi, if you were to do all the steps, these are all manual steps that an LB admin has to do, and that would result into days, if not weeks, to bring up a virtualized service. With Avi, you do it in a fraction of minutes. And the solution is beautiful in the sense that you can deploy it in your bare metal environment, in your virtualized environment, and in your containerized environment without having to retool your load balancing. You get the same features and capabilities across any of your substrate, public or private substrate, and you get the consistency of automation and visibility. Now, to make the experience even better, what we have done is we have created a new package, a new offer, which is known as Avi with Cloud Services. And the goal of this offer is to simplify your load balancing deployment even further. So Avi Pulse, as you can see here, that is the platform that will provide you with a set of cloud services to augment your load balancing experience. And we'll go into exactly what those services are in the next couple of slides. All right. So really what we are trying to do is we are trying to give you the experience of deploying your solution anywhere. It could be any of the underlying substrates, and you get the flexibility of either managing the controller yourself or have it customer managed. So think of Avi's solution, Avi with cloud services, as a universal solution with the flexibility of choice. The customer has a choice to either manage the controller themselves or have VMware provide a hosted option. Now, if you want a VMware hosted option, back in the day, there used to be a products queue But with this new offer, we have it all packaged as a single platform, as a single product that you buy, and you have the option of either customer managed or VMware hosted controller. Also notice that, Rahul, if you were to go back to the previous slide, also notice that your service engines, which are your load balancers, they sit close to the application. The role of the controller is to manage the load balancers or the service engines, and the service engines can sit anywhere, on premises, in the cloud of your choice. All right. So to delve a little bit deeper into what kind of cloud services we are providing, right? As you know, this is our stack that we provide for load balancing, application security, ingress services, your layer 4 through layer 7 services. We are making that stack better operationally by providing a set of cloud services through our Avi Pulse platform. So think of Avi Pulse as a platform that is used to deliver the cloud services. The cloud services are offered as SaaS to the customers. What I mean by that is, no longer do you need to procure a server, spin up a VM, and manage that VM by yourself. We deliver this cloud services to you as a service, a true SaaS service. And the cloud services that we are bringing to the market first are live security threat intelligence. Rahul will talk more about that, but at a high level, live security threat intelligence is responsible for making sure that the signatures within your security environment are always updated, so that you're always more current with the threat vectors which are out there. Proactive support. The goal of proactive support is to reduce the support burden on an LB admin to zero, right? So the goal of this feature and function is to be able to automatically gather important relevant logs in case of errors and issues happening in your environment and create a case with GSS. And central licensing. This is our most critical capability that we are bringing to the market. The goal of this capability is to give customers the ability to centrally manage the pool of licenses and delegate capacity on a need per basis. So these are the new capabilities that we are bringing to the market. Rahul, if you want to go to the next slide. So you may have a question, right? Like, how do I buy these capabilities? Do I buy 3 different SKUs, 1 SKU, 5 SKUs? What is it, right? We have simplified consumption for you. We have made sure that it's a single platform that provides you with all application services. It's 1 SKU that you buy with all your load balancing features and functions that you've enjoyed for such a long time, and augmented with the set of cloud services, right? So the initial 3 cloud services are here, and we'll keep on innovating in this space and bringing out new and new cloud services. Plus, the same SKU gives you the option of either having the controller on premises or have it VMware hosted. So no longer you need to buy 3 SKUs. It's just 1 SKU with a universal deployment option with choice and flexibility built in to that package. So with further ado, I'm sure you guys are really, really excited about knowing what the cloud services are. I'll invite Rahul to walk us through the set of services that we are bringing to the market and also give us a quick demo. Rahul, all yours.
Thanks, Palak. Awesome. Folks, so I think this picture really depicts what Palak was mentioning around Pulse being the platform to deliver SaaS services to our customers, and those are delivered through the controller deployments that are deployed in disparate regions in different geos for different use cases, etc. So the idea is a controller will connect in to the Pulse platform, which is Avi Cloud Services platform, and from there are a plethora of services that would be delivered to our customers. As part of Avi with Cloud Services, central licensing is the only mandatory service that needs to be enabled, and that gets enabled by default. Central licensing will manage licenses as a global capacity pool, like Palak mentioned. So let me go through each service that Pulse / Avi Cloud Services offers today, and then we'll jump right in to a live demo. Let's start with central licensing, and the whole genesis of central licensing is really to provide a plethora of benefits to you. One is managing licenses is a pain point. How do you distribute licenses across different deployments? How do you ensure that procurement is made easy, doesn't cause any friction, etc.? All of these problems are solved with central licensing, which essentially provides a global capacity pool. So any licenses that really are procured as a SaaS subscription get deposited in central licensing, and then all of your controller deployments for Avi can connect in to Pulse. And when they register with Pulse, they get central licensing enabled. And capacity between these controllers is distributed elastically, fungibly in real time. This also paves way to help with use cases such as disaster recovery, enables cloud busting use cases, and also in future we are going to bring up pay-as-you-go models as well, where really the goal is to simplify consumption and to help operators manage licenses easily and redistribute depending on the need. Now, a couple of things that I did want to mention about Pulse as a platform in general, and also as it applies to central licensing, is that Pulse is built as a secure platform. The genesis of Pulse is such that all the API calls are really originated from the controller, and we have plugins that customers can enable to implement things such as a forward proxy to secure and enforce additional security controls between the controller and Pulse. In addition to that, there is no data that is gathered by Pulse. There is no user data, no config data. Pulse does not talk to any of your infrastructure, such as your vCenter environment, your NSX environment, etc. Pulse does not write any data on Avi controllers, etc. It's just a API contract between SaaS delivered services, which is the Pulse platform, and the controller. So with that, you have a connected experience, and with connected experience, of course, you get a lot of value added functionalities. And alongside with that, you rest assured the deployment is always secure. With that, the second service category that I wanted to touch upon was live security threat intelligence. Now, in today's day and world, applications are exposed to a plethora of threat vectors, right from L3 to L7 and advanced attacks such as bots, etc. Now, these attacks are changing every day. Like Log4j is something that we experienced quite recently. To protect against such attacks, having a static deployment or an offline deployment is not sufficient. As the attacks are evolving in real time, security against these attacks also needs to be connected and really needs a live connected experience. That is what Pulse is delivering through the live security threat intelligence service suite. And today there are a plethora of services already, threat streams already available that are fed into controller to secure applications and to implement those security functions via Pulse. We already have IP reputation, application signatures, user agent signatures, WAF, CRS rule sets, etc., coming in from the Pulse platform into the controllers. Now, Avi itself, as many of you might already know, has got a rich single pass security pipeline, where right from your L3 ACLs to rate limiting to DDoS protection, authentication, etc., all of that is carried out in a single pass pipeline. And through Pulse now connected into the controllers, this becomes essentially live. And one or more of these components can and will be updated depending on the need and the state of affairs. The next service that I wanted to talk about is proactive support. And while this animation is playing out, let me paint a picture of how support is handled today by customers, how are issues handled by customers today. Whenever there is an issue that is detected, an LB admin, an infra admin will essentially go and try and figure out what the issue is, where the issue is. Once that is figured out, admin then has to figure out what data might be necessary so that the vendor would be able to help remediate and also fix the issue. This is a very tedious process. It involves a lot of time. It involves a lot of effort. And even after all of this, it's not guaranteed that all the relevant information is really gathered, because maybe the issue happened 3 hours before the admin could actually figure out where the issue was, what the issue was, what are the logs, etc., that are needed. And by the time that happens, logs are already rolled over. And the important information, just-in-time information that was needed is no longer available. We, through the Pulse platform, are solving this through the proactive support service suite, where we really are enabling a zero-touch support experience. The way this works is controller is registered with Pulse, and controller already has a rich alert system, which is based on thousands of events and metrics. As an example that is shown in this build out, when a service engine fails, there's going to be an alert that is generated. Controller picks up this alert and communicates to Pulse that, hey, something is wrong and a support case needs to be created. As soon as Pulse gets that notification, it generates a VMware support case. It files it against Customer Connect at VMware. And controller at the same time also has intelligence to collect all the relevant information just in time, so that no logs, no information that is needed to really remediate and fix the issue is lost. All of this is packaged up and is shipped directly, automatically into VMware support systems. Admin at this time doesn't even need to be aware of an issue happening. VMware support systems would already know about where the issue happened, what the issue was, and have all the relevant logs attached with the support case. LB admin, of course, will be alerted based on the standard alerting systems that might be already configured on controller, maybe PagerDuty, maybe Slack, maybe SNMP, maybe an email. All of that is completely possible and is configured, and admins would know about it. But the great benefit is that there is just-in-time creation of support cases whenever an issue happens with a zero-touch, completely automated experience. So with that, let's jump right into our demo. So for the purposes of this demo, what I have is I have a trial set up for Avi with cloud services. And for that, I'm going to log into console.cloud. Let me get the URL correct. console.cloud.vmware.com. Now this is the VMware CSP platform. This is the VMware SaaS platform. And as you can see here, we have VMware NSX ALB, Avi with cloud services service style already available. And this is in trial. So I have enabled trial for Avi with cloud services. All of our customers can sign up for our trial at avinetworks.com/try, and that's available for you today. I'm going to use this trial, and we are going to walk through central licensing as a critical piece to enable capacity management. And then we'll also look at a few of the other services that Pulse provides. In here, we already have the service style. So let's see what's happening within Avi with cloud services. This is going to redirect us from VMware CSP platform over to the Avi Cloud Services platform. What we see here is that the dashboard shows that a trial for 20 service units has been generated. And currently there are a few service units that are being used. Now, there is one controller asset that currently has been registered with cloud services. And this controller asset is actually consuming those service units. I'm actually going to go into the controller asset that is currently registered with cloud services and show you where the configurations exist. This is a controller that is deployed in the Oregon region. It has an application running right now. I'm going to go into administration and cloud services tab. Here we see that the ORUSRainpole.com, which is the same controller that is registered here, is shown. This controller is registered with cloud services. And as you can see, it's only consuming central licensing. All of the other services are purely opt-in and are disabled by default. None of these are enabled right now. I am going to go and enable some of the security services so that we can show this in the demo for you as well. In the licensing tab, we see that there are a few service units already being used. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to another controller that I have, and this controller is deployed in the Melbourne region. Now, this controller is currently not registered with cloud services. This controller, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go ahead and register this controller to show how easy it is to register a on-prem controller deployment with cloud services. I'm going to hit register. It's going to use the VMware CSP/Customer Connect credentials, and it's going to use those credentials to register the controller as an asset with Avi Cloud Services platform, which is Pulse. Here, the controller is already authenticated and an identity has been generated. Now, the admin will need to pick a CSP organization where capacity is available. Now, from our initial tab, we saw that the organization where the trial has been enabled is this ALB Cloud Services Service org, which is the same org that is seen on the Pulse portal as well. So for this demo, I'm going to pick the same services org, and I'm going to annotate myself as the default support case owner. What this means is that any support case that is filed by this controller will have me as the default support contact. Now here again, you could see that all other services are disabled, and I'm again going to enable application rules as an example here. Now the controller asset will complete its registration with cloud services, and once it is registered, we will see a new asset being shown in our cloud services portal. So now the controller is registered, and when we go to our Avi Cloud Services or ALB Cloud Services portal, we will now see two assets that are registered. What I'm going to do now is to go and reserve certain capacity in this controller. So for this, I'm going to go into the licensing tab, and I'm going to actually go ahead and reserve 10 licenses. So now this controller actually does not have any service engines running, but because we requested for 10 licenses or 10 service units, this controller has a local cache or local capacity of 10 service units already available. This is a great way for our customers to go ahead and do static partitioning of their licenses. Maybe you have an environment where you require a minimum set of licenses always to be available and not rely on completely dynamic licensing where every license transaction goes out to the cloud. So this is perfectly possible. And now if we go back to our controller window, we would see the 10 reserved licenses show up. It was 4 and now it's 14. This shows how easy it is to go ahead and start consuming central licensing where customers can just register, and from that point onwards there is a global capacity pool that is managed centrally, which allows for all of these ease of management and ease of operation workflows for our customers. Now, on this controller, I already have an application that is running. And the next, what I would like to show briefly is show how easy it is to really consume some of our live security threat intelligence services. Now, this application is a public-facing application, and it is definitely vulnerable to attacks. So this VIP that I have is actually accessible over public internet. This is actually one of our websites that I've just put as a backend application. Now, there is traffic running on this app, and we want to secure this application against plethora of attacks. One of the services that I'm going to show right now is application signatures that are delivered from Pulse. For that, application signatures, to just give a high-level overview, are a much better and a more sophisticated way of providing WAF for applications, and it relies on specially curated rules for specific applications. What that really does is it allows for a much better performance because the number of rules, etc., are all specific. So the parser and the engine doesn't run through a lot of rules that are and regexes that are not applicable to the application in question. The second thing is because these rules are very, very specific and are tailored towards the application, they are also tailored towards vulnerability of specific application. And what that leads to is very few false positives being generated from the model. So you get a high level of confidence in enforcing security. Therefore, you can put your WAF in enforcement mode very, very easily, and also get the benefits of extremely high performance out of your WAF as well. So to enable this, the application that I showed behind the scenes is running WordPress. So you can simply type in WordPress here. And as you can see, we have applied WordPress security for this virtual service. This WordPress application right now has around 1,000 rules specific to WordPress that will be applied to protect this virtual service. Now note, these rules can dynamically change. Maybe a new vulnerability is discovered, which requires a few addition of rules, or maybe mutation of certain rules. All of that would be fed into the controller in real time. The granularity of this varies from minutes to a number of hours. And you could see that protection, as soon as a rule gets published, is not only made available in the control plane, but actually gets enforced in the data plane. So the end-to-end life cycle of your security policy is taken care of, where the admin and the ops team don't even need to be involved in the complete life cycle. And that's really the benefit and the value that a connected SaaS service provides. And this is just one such example where it demonstrates how this can be achieved. So I'm just going to hit save. So now we're protected against WordPress attacks. And with that, let me jump right back into our slide share and quickly highlight some of the key benefits that we've seen today. I think before the benefits, I'd like to reiterate that Avi Cloud Services, or Pulse, is a platform that is going to provide value-added services delivered in a connected SaaS-like experience. All of these are packaged with the Avi with Cloud Services package, which is a one single SKU. It's one ring to rule them all, and with that, you get the universe of benefits at your fingertips, really. So with that, with central licensing, we saw how easy it is to dynamically manage your capacity across your disparate controller deployments. These can easily eliminate duplicate licenses that would have been needed to really manage that capacity, because it is hard to splice and dice and go to a bunch of portals and do this manually. It really enables cloud bursting and future-looking use cases. With live security threat intelligence, it's highly, highly powerful, and to be frank, really a requirement in today's day and age, because security threat vectors keep changing, keep evolving, and having a static environment will not work. A connected feed of security sources are a requirement, and live security threat intelligence provides exactly that. And the great benefit is that it's not a bridge incomplete. It's not just providing configs and then someone has to go and apply them onto the applications. It's a complete end-to-end life cycle, where as soon as our security threat researchers and third-party security companies that we contract with to obtain these threat feeds, as soon as those get published, they will be not only applied and delivered to the controllers as on the control plane, but also will be enforced on the applications, and applications will get instant security. With proactive support, it's a great operational tool. It alleviates so many pain points for our customers that they really don't have to worry about how their deployments are functioning. Now, Avi already is great at remediating problems with the elastic scalable fabric with highly automated decision automation enabled load balancing that we provide and manage complete application lifecycle. What that means really is if a service engine goes down, controller will take care of the application and ensure that there is minimal downtime. But this takes it a few steps further, wherein whatever the issue was that caused that downtime or service breakage, a support ticket will automatically be generated, and the ops teams are rest assured that they are being taken care of. So with that, let me pass on the presentation to Lei to conclude.
Hey, thank you, Rahu. I'll bring back my videos here. Thanks for the nice presentation and demo I do want to point out a few resources that you guys can further engage with us. First of all is this, we have webinars running on a bi-weekly basis covering a variety of topics. So feel free to register for those and also read our KB articles online at avinetworks.com/docs. That's a wealth of information of how to configure, what to do in terms of deployments and all the release information's there. So and then the second thing, I want to make sure that we have a trial process if you're interested to quickly request a trial, and we can grant you with the appropriate license to try our product, right? We don't necessarily need to ship you a box. It's all in software, so it makes it super easy for customers to experience Avi. Last but not least, I do want to highlight that we have a set of workshops free available to everybody that I think I want to urge you to take advantage of. There are two types. One is a 90-minute long kind of hands-on lab, so 30-minute of preview, of overview, and then 60-minute of lab. You can actually get your hands on our product in a demo environment. And then the second type is 4-day workshop. So each day is about 4 hours, and we have a live SMEs expert that you can walk him through with the deeper dive into the architecture that we just showed, and then also getting to GSLB, WAF, these kind of more advanced topics in those workshops. So again, all of those are available for free across all 3 different continents, and 3 different time zones, and we offer it on a fairly frequent basis as well, at least monthly as far as I know. Okay, so without further ado, Palak and Rahul, let's answer some questions. So I have one question from Tim here that he was asking, when you say the central licensing, does it include a public cloud capacity as well?
Yeah, Lei, thanks, Tim, for the question. I can take that question. Yes, of course. The great benefit of central licensing and also the package that we have brought to market is that it's a universal package and a universal service. So regardless of not just which platform, which environment the load balancers are deployed, or which geos these load balancers are deployed, it's universal. It's one single pool of capacity and can totally be done. Maybe you have AWS in US and maybe a vCenter in Australia. Both of these environments can get capacity from the same central licensing capacity pool.
The next question is from Rajiv. I think, Palak, that would be a good one for you to answer. We get this a lot. Do you guys require VMware NSX?
No, I mean, I understand that the name has NSX Advanced Load Balancer, but Avi can work in conjunction with VMware NSX or without VMware NSX. NSX is a branding name. We fall under the portfolio of NSX products, but it's not mandatory to have NSX running deployed to run Avi.
Yeah, totally. So we pride ourselves being the Switzerland of load balancers, right? So we support both, deep integrations within all of the entire VMware ecosystem, but we also support, like public clouds. We support your container environment, whether it's, Kubernetes, OpenShift, or VMware Tanzu. So, because of the unique architecture we have, we're almost indifferent, right? Agnostic to the underlying infrastructure, but that's the whole point. We want you to be able to focus on the applications as well and meeting business needs. So yeah, so that give us a try. And then, this Avi with cloud services is really kind of hot off the press, right? It's just made available end of last year, but the same platform has been proven and tested over many years. And we've helped a lot of our customers to migrate from their legacy hardware load balancers onto Avi. So yeah, so if you have any further questions, feel free to reach any of us, and you can send an email to avi-netmarketing@vmware.com, and we'll make sure that your questions get addressed. Okay, so again, let me wrap up this webinar by saying that you will get the recording and the slides at the end, and if you find this wealth of information to be useful, forward it along, and your coworkers can view this again on demand. All right. Thank you once again, everyone, for the time. And thank you, Rahul and Palak, for your time as well. All right.
Thanks,
bye. Thank you, everybody.